Marvel Studios producer Richie Palmer sat down with Marvel.com to further discuss the implications of everything that Loki and Sylvie did to the sacred timeline, and he goes on and confirms that everything we saw in Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness can only happen because of the events of what Loki and Sylvie did. Without that event playing out the way it did, none of these things would have happened and the MCU would have gone on in a completely different direction. So again, this is directly from Marvel.com, where they sat down and talked to one of the producers of many projects and one of the people involved with many things with Marvel Studios. So they decided to talk a little bit about the events of everything that happens in Spider-Man No Way Home and everything that happens after in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and how all of these things directly connect to everything that He Who Remains said. And he specifically says that if the events of Loki never took place, the MCU would not be in the same place it's at. And as he goes on and talks about it, he says that the multiverse is only possible because He Who Remains, aka Kang, is no longer there keeping order of the sacred timeline, and they can't prune other timelines. Now that we see that he's gone, everything can split off into its own timeline and continuity. And he says that if you look at the timeline that's behind the castle, you start to see it spinning out everywhere. Well, that's exactly what leads to Doctor Strange casting the spell, why the spell holds, why Doctor Strange is allowed to travel the multiverse, and why nobody can stop him. And he confirms that yes, the reason nobody is stopping him is because, once again, Kang is not there. They can't just remove them. The TVA is not a factor anymore. They're doing their own thing. They got their own problem. So they couldn't interfere with Spider-Man because Spider-Man and Doctor Strange take place after the events of Loki. And slowly we're starting to see the ramifications of this. And there's even a hint here that maybe this is all part of the bigger picture with the incursions, but they don't go too much further into that. Which is something I recently said when we were doing a CBC bonus members topic. We were talking about incursions, and I said, I believe you're going to see it anyway as the timelines splinter off and then start folding back into one another, because technically we're creating multiverses, but also there's other parallels as well, which can contribute to all of this, which again, I think in due time, we're going to have more details on this, but it's nice to just get a simple explanation of how this works and the fact that, yeah, everything is here because of Loki. Loki had to happen the way it did to allow everything else.